In this video, we are going to evaluate an exponential function with base e and understand the natural base. Now, the number e is defined as the value of this quantity here, 1 plus 1 over n, all to the nth power. Now, as n increases without bound, so if it gets larger and larger and larger, that would be that number e. Now, it's approximately 2.71828, 1827, and then it keeps on going. Now, the natural exponential function is f of x equals e to the x, and the domain of that is negative infinity to positive infinity. Now, there is a horizontal asymptote, so the range, it will skim closer and closer on the left end to 0, but it can go all the way up to infinity. Here are three different exponential functions. In this kind of gold color is 3 to the x. In this red is 2 to the x. Now, e, we know, is that number 2.71828 and so on. It would be closer to the gold one, but between the base 3 and a base 2 function. So you see that here in that kind of aqua color. Let's take a look at a function, f of x equals 2 times e to the x plus 1, and let's evaluate it when x is 3. Now, if we plug in 3, it would be in the exponent spot, so we would have 2 times e to the 3 plus 1. Now, take and combine that power to be in e to the 4th, and that would be our exact answer, 2 times e to the 4th. But sometimes we may want to graph it, or we may need to know that, a number that we can represent that as. So if you put that into a calculator, or you use that 2.71828 value, if we round it to the nearest thousandth, it would be 109.196. So now we've looked at how we can plug into an exponential function. Now let's go ahead and talk about the graph. So we have this function f of x equals e to the x minus 1. We still have an asymptote at 0. That's only going to change if we add or subtract something on the outside of our function. It would change that asymptote. But for these ones, we just have an asymptote at 0. If we plug some numbers in so we can see how that function goes from left to right, I've plugged in -1, and I got e to the -2, which is approximately 0.14 when rounded to 2 decimal places. If you plug in 0, you get e to the -1, which is approximately 0.37. If you plug in 1, you get e to the 0, which is 1. If you plug in 2, you get e to the first, which is approximately 2.72. So what I would suggest doing when you go to graph these is first put on your points that we just found, then put on your asymptote, and then connect them with your curve. And that's a little bit about how we graph an natural exponential function. So that is how we evaluate an exponential function with base e and understand that natural base and how we graph it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.